Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
All right, in case you could hear us laughing beforehand, Final Guys is back, except this week it's just me and Final Girl. The tall one, my wife, has decided to step in since there was a mop emergency with Hunter, and unfortunately that emergency was at Jack's house. Those are all the details I got, so I don't know. I don't want to know what's going on over there. So my wife has graciously stepped in. Welcome to Final Guys once again.
I'm sweating.
Why are you so nervous?
I'm sweating so bad.
You're going to do fine.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna do fine. You sound much better this time because we actually got you a microphone, so
We did.
that'll be nice. Still a little echoey, but,
Eh.
doing it in the dining room. So
Yeah, doing our best.
yeah, we'll get through it. So this week we watched Child's Play, which we were both very excited to see.
Thrilled.
We managed to get there and check it out, so we'll get to that in a bit. But first, you know what? I didn't actually look up any news. Now that I'm thinking about it.
We're already falling apart.
Yeah, I had a couple things picked out and I just completely forgot to bring them up. So while I try to think of those, I'm going to give you the drinking rules. As always, Sheridan Bradford gave us some lovely words here. And you have your own 3 this week.
Oh, okay.
So your words are boy, dogs, and play. Mine are robot, kills, and franchise. And our bonus words are Hamill, Plaza, and Chucky.
Well done.
If we actually drank playing this game, we would all play.
Well done.
So I'm trying to think of, I had 3 things that popped up. Oh, I know one. Terrifier 2, which you did not watch Terrifier 1 with me because I heard it was super gory and torture porny.
I don't know what that is.
Terrifier was a serial killer movie with a main guy named Art the Clown, the killer in it. And
Dark? Dark? Dark.
Art the Clown. Yeah.
Got it.
It was incredibly gory, shockingly violent, extended scenes of people being cut in half and stuff. Your cup of tea.
Yeah, perfect.
So apparently the second one is being funded on, I don't know, it was GoFundMe or something like that. They needed 50 grand or 100 grand, whatever it was. And the last I checked, they were over $200,000 or 200% above what they needed. So that sucker is a go and it's coming out. That was one a lot of people loved. So
They loved it?
yeah.
Did you like it?
It wasn't my cup of tea just because, the whole torture thing isn't really my bag, but it was really well made. I mean, the gore was incredible.
All right.
And, Jack and Hunter loved it because there were naked chicks throughout it. So, they were pleased. Shit.
That's definitely his cup of tea. And there's the dog.
Now, we thought nobody was going to bark this week because you're already here.
Yeah.
And you're not going to come home in the middle of it.
Right.
And she's...
No.
Yeah, I guess we should say there's a giant thunderstorm rolling in right now, so she might lose her mind.
Yeah.
So,
well, right now she's in her box of toys and trying to get me to play.
oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Great.
It's going very well.
Oh, God damn it. This is going to be one of those.
The guys are going to watch this and just, they'll never leave again is what will happen.
Yeah, you might end up having to pick her up here because
I might.
She's getting wound.
Yeah, and here comes the thunder. So.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, while you do that, I'm going to jump us into the curation section.
We have such sights to show you.
This is such a cluster already. All right, there's our old blind dog who needs a terrible haircut. Or has a terrible haircut and needs a better haircut. All right, so while she's getting situated, this is going to be a little different this week because we watched all the same stuff. So
yeah,
our list is going to be pretty short. So I guess for anyone who hasn't listened to our Annihilation episode, which was the first one you and I did, I make you watch probably 90% of the crap I talk about on here.
Yes, you do.
There are a few, like Terrifier and things like that I don't make you sit through, but most of the time you're slogging through this as well. So
Yeah.
we should at least be able to talk about this together.
Yeah, not a lot of variety, but hopefully some good, decent conversation, I guess.
We shall find out. So
We'll
first,
find out.
the first thing we watched was the Black Mirror episode Striking Vipers. This one was a weird one.
I was uncomfortable, I think, at the end.
So
I didn't know what. Yeah.
Striking Vipers is about two friends who've been growing up together since, I don't know, college or something like that, and they were playing this old Striking Vipers game. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat. And 10 years in the future, they reconnect for one of the guy's birthdays. The friend visiting gives him a virtual reality adapter for his head, and they play the new Striking Vipers game.
Yeah.
But instead of fighting in this virtual world, they start having sex. A lot. And it gets really freaking weird. It's two best friends just banging it out in virtual reality.
Yeah,
right?
They're best friends.
It was so bizarre.
And in real life, they don't have any attraction toward each other. Like there's no.
No.
In real life, that's not it. It's purely the game.
Yes.
And it's the guy from Captain America, his friend. I don't know his name. Do we do spoilers?
I don't know if we want to spoil this, but his name is Anthony Mackie, I believe.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
And the chick who played Mantis.
The chick who played Mantis.
From Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm trying to find her name here.
She's French. I think she's French.
Is it Palm Clementif?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Palm, P-O-M.
Palm, P-O-M, Palm.
Unrecognizable in this. She's not the ditzy character from Guardians.
No.
So it's a great cast. It's just freaking weird.
It's weird. It's a little weird.
We've watched 2 of the 3 episodes now, and they've both been very different from other Black Mirror seasons.
Yeah, they were.
It's not as dark. It's
happy.
Yeah, the tone is just off.
It's almost happy.
It's not that they're terrible episodes. It's just it doesn't feel like Black Mirror, I guess.
Can you hear her breathing into the mic by any chance?
No.
Okay, great.
Why is she panting?
Yeah.
Having an old dog is so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Oh my God, she looks like hell in the camera.
And she smells.
She's getting her hair did tomorrow. Okay, enough about the dogs. So yeah, Black Mirror. The season is pretty good so far, but it just feels very different. And I've heard a lot of people don't like it, and I think that's why, just because it's different.
It is different. It's very different. It's worth checking out, though. I mean, it's well done.
Yeah, like all the Black Mirror stuff. It's solid. I don't know that we've seen a bad one.
No.
We like some better than others, but okay. Now moving on, we picked a movie pretty much at random on Amazon Prime. We didn't have a lot of time to watch one, so we didn't do the usual 20 minutes of sifting through trying to find something, and then we watch it and we don't like it anyway.
Yeah.
So we just picked something that sounded interesting, and we settled on The Heretics. It says 2017, but on Amazon, I don't think it came out till last year. This was a movie about a woman who's abducted by a cult. I don't remember how long ago, like 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that. She escapes when all of them kill themselves. This is all in the first 2 minutes, so it's not really spoilers.
Yeah.
And then she's abducted X amount of years later by a guy who says he's trying to protect her. And that some demon is going to possess her on that night, and he's trying to keep her alive until sunrise, when she'll then be okay. And crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
So we had slightly different views of this. I really enjoyed it.
I went total mean girl and was like, I don't like the way she talks. I don't like the way her voice sounds in this sentence. I don't like. It was just there was no substance to anything I was saying.
You were definitely picking apart the main actress's
Yeah.
performance a little bit. Whereas I, on the other hand, thought she was phenomenal as she transforms throughout the night as things happen. I thought she got there's a grew on her and slime on her, and I thought her performance got better and better and better.
It was good. Yeah, no, the makeup was decent. It was decent.
The actress is Nina Kiri. So,
Oh.
as I mentioned, for about 95% of the things I watch for the show, there is no budget here.
No.
But the movie looks like $1 million. The lighting, the quality, on point, right?
Yeah. Whoever shot it, I'm gonna put her down. Sorry. Whoever shot it, you brought it to light. They did a really good job with, like you said, the lighting, framing things. The lighting was incredible, though. It really stood out. They did some cool stuff.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The way they lit people's faces, or the way the girl to highlight some things on her, or whatever. They did a good job. But
You were fixated
distracted.
on the acting.
I was distracted.
So I will say there were two things that weren't the best with this movie because it was low budget, most likely. One is a couple times we noticed some effects that maybe could have been hidden a little better, including a skull cap that just was not good.
Really poor skull cap.
And the other one was there was some acting by with one of the characters that was very distracting in the movie. It was a very over-the-top performance.
What do you mean? She was so exaggerated.
Yeah, it was. Yes, I kind of liked the arc of that story, but it was just so over the top. And it wasn't just the performance; the writing was a little much too. She was doing some things that were crazy.
She was 95 pounds, and she was just leaving a trail behind her. She was just getting rid of people.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. You're going to have to look past some things in this, but I enjoyed this so much, and I saw so much potential, I guess is probably the best way to put it, that I'm going to be looking for this director in the future, and I'm guessing he probably has something to do with the production company. I don't know, maybe it's something he's doing. I should have looked it up more. But I was very impressed. It just looked great, and anything with cults, we both love that stuff. Yeah,
love that, yeah.
And I thought they did a pretty good job with the cult storyline. So
it's definitely worth watching. Yeah, I don't know if maybe I was just in a salty mood that night. I don't know, but
there may be a thread of that through everything we watched. We'll find out.
A salty mood.
Yeah. So that was The Heretics on Amazon Prime. Definitely worth a watch. Go check it out. All right, then we watched. Well, actually, I watched by myself because with our luck tonight, there's a giant thunderstorm rolling in. The dogs freak out. So I had to take them down in the basement, and I put a movie on really loud. So it drowns out the thunderstorm and they calm down. So what I've been putting on is Blade, because the beginning, the fight scene is so insane that it just, the bass covers the storm. So I'm looking for it. All of a sudden, it's not on Amazon Prime anymore. God damn it. So in the also viewed of that movie was The Golden Child. So I just clicked it and hit start just to get some kind of sound going. Problem is, I really dig The Golden Child. It's a Eddie Murphy movie from the 80s that we probably watched in college. Do you remember it?
Kind of. Oh, no, you know what I'm thinking of? Coming to America. I'm thinking of Coming to America.
Very different kind of movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This one also has to do with cultish behavior and hell and demons and stuff. But this one stars Charles Dance as the main villain, who was the head of the, the Lannister family in Game of Thrones, who was killed on the toilet.
The father?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, that was a spoiler, but if you haven't watched halfway through the Game of Thrones, you deal
surprise.
With it. Yeah. So Charles Dance is the bad guy in it. Very, very dapper looking. And Eddie Murphy, as always, he's great. I'm pretty sure I talked about this a year or two ago on the show. I can't remember, but a lot of people don't like this movie. I think it's hilarious. Eddie Murphy is great in it. There's demonic stuff. There's cults and all kinds of shit. It takes place in India, and he's trying to deal with the locals, and they think he's a moron, and he's talking shit, and it's a
Why
fun movie.
Why don't they like it though?
I don't know, to be honest. But I grew up on the movie, so I don't know if it's a nostalgic thing for me, but I find Eddie Murphy movies absolutely hilarious up until about the year 2000. The wheels fell off around then, but it's great. I'm pretty sure we watched this, but that was probably 15 years ago, so I'll have to give you a refresher.
I guess so.
It's solid. There are some pretty shitty effects at the end, though. I was sitting here watching it. I don't know. It was probably midnight when I put it on, and I stayed up till like 1:30 just to finish The Golden Child. So that was also free on Prime. Check that out. All right. Enough of my yakking. Last night, we watched Shazam, the new DC
Which
movie.
I continue to think is the movie with the basketball, the tall guy. That doesn't exist. The movie that doesn't exist.
Oh God, who was that? Shit. The comedian from the 90s. He was in all the movies in the 90s. Sinbad,
not the basketball player. Sinbad.
Yeah, that's right. There's some movie people think exists called Shazam, right? Isn't that this? I think that's what it is.
Something like that. So similar.
Where he plays a genie. Yeah.
A genie. Yeah.
But the movie's not real.
That. It has nothing to do with genies.
No, this is
or
a real
Sinbad,
movie.
Or yeah.
God damn, dog is killing me.
She wants to play.
So anyway, we watched Shazam, the new DC movie, and you're probably gonna have to pick her up again, and I'll just cut this out. Oh, this is so bad, freaking dogs. So anyway, oh god, I might as well wait for her to come back. This will look great on YouTube. I guess I'll check on the live chat, see what's going on. That Shazam movie we were talking about, it's one of those things like the Berenstain Bears, I think, where people think it's some kind of alternate reality where this movie existed. I don't know. I was talking about Shazam still.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of stuff, though. It's kind of cool if you look it up. We're going a little off subject, but...
Yeah, the whole Berenstain Bears thing is neat.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, the real Shazam movie. About a kid who gets magical powers and turns into Superman with a giant lit up lightning bolt on his chest.
Yeah.
What you think?
I thought it was okay. It was okay. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I thought it had some humor in it. I didn't really know the story. Not that that matters. You don't need to, but I mean, it really does not feel like a DC movie, though. It feels too, for lack of better words, but comic book. Yeah, it feels very childlike. It feels too light, too bright, too silly, I guess. I think that was my main issue. It just felt a little too silly for me. It felt young.
They're definitely trying to get away from the dark aspect of Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Justice League, that dumpster fire. I actually really liked this movie. I thought it was way better than I expected. Shazam is one of those characters that nobody gives a shit about in the comic books. Like, nobody cares. So for them to make a movie that's pretty decent surprised me.
It was decent.
I thought it is about kids, but I thought the way they handled it was really funny.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
His handicapped
sidekick
roommate
foster brother.
That kid is great.
He is good. He's really good.
He handles the dramatic parts. He handles the comedy. He's
a funny kid.
He's probably the best part of the movie, to be honest. I thought so anyway.
Yeah. I liked the little girl Darla, the 6-year-old or 6 or 7-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
For a kid, she was a pretty good little actress.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing worked.
It did.
I definitely enjoyed it more than you did.
Yeah.
But it was a DC movie. Okay, we've seen Justice League, we've seen Suicide Squad, we've seen Wonder Woman, and just been like, oh, for the love of God. So, I mean, when Wonder Woman is one of your better movies, things have gone off the rails. I didn't hate Wonder Woman, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely different. It's, you know what? It's so different. If you've seen the other movies and hate them, you might like this. It's silly.
Yeah, it is,
Silly.
but not necessarily in a bad way. I feel like they were trying to move more in the Marvel direction by adding a lot more humor and things.
A lot more
So,
humor.
You know, I guess it'll just really depend. You know, if you're going to enjoy that, and if you're digging the DC weirdness, then this might not be one of your favorites. But for me, Man of Steel was my favorite DC movie, and this I would put under that.
Okay.
You know, and then
If you've got kids, you've got nieces and nephews, you want to put something on that you don't want to poke your eyeballs out, this might be that.
that's right. And we got in a discussion because we looked up the main actor who was in Chuck. His name is escaping me right now. I'll look it up. But we were like, why is his suit so padded out? He looks
so padded.
It's crazy. Zachary Levi. So we looked this up, and apparently this is some kind of a thing where he's trying to pretend that the suit isn't padded or something.
Oh, this was the most ridiculous thing.
Like, dude, do you know how freaking like look at yourself in that suit? You wouldn't fit through doors, for crying out loud.
You said he looked like the suit made him look like Rich Piana. Like he would have to be just so much larger than life. There's no way that suit is not padded.
Yeah, he looked like the deceased YouTube bodybuilding star Rich Piana, who was freakishly
Look him up.
huge.
Look him up.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell is going on there. I don't know if he's just trolling people, but it's a good movie. I enjoyed it, so I would definitely watch it. And finally, I mentioned this last week or the week before, but Unsolved Mysteries is free on YouTube now, and I am still putting it on in the background, and I have to stop doing it when I'm working because some of these freaking cases just draw me in. Robert Stack is the best. So
I was going to say, you're probably not working at that point then. Yeah.
It's just like when I put a quote-unquote movie on for the dogs, and then I just sit and watch it. So...
Air quotes.
Yeah, that's probably like that. So I say we keep pushing through here because when that storm hits,
it's going to be big.
The show's going to get way worse than it's already been with dog stuff. So.
it's gonna be a big one. It's
right.
pretty yellow outside. So
is it?
Yeah.
I'm in the basement. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're going to jump into our main feature, A Child's Play.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
So I'm going to dump this on you, having never done it. Would you like to summarize Child's Play?
I don't think I'm the one that needs to summarize Child's Play.
Would you like for me to do it?
I mean, I can try. We were sitting in the theater at one point. You looked over, and I was like slumped over in my seat, like glassy-eyed. So I don't know. I'm the one that needs to summarize it.
That's why I wanted you to do it. I thought it might be funny.
Okay, I'll do my best. A toy company in Korea, ? Korea? Vietnam?
Vietnam sounds right.
Vietnam.
Question mark.
One of the workers, the boss was kind of nasty to him and he had enough and he fired him. So the worker messed up, took off all the, what were they? Like,
Safeguards, I think they were
Safeguard?
called?
Yeah, sure. We'll call them safeguards.
Messed with the coding.
Messed with the coding of this AI doll. And he packaged it up, sent it over, went to America, and some poor unsuspecting kid got it as a refurbished deal for his birthday. And so now we have Chucky, who's AI, which I like that change. And he's imprinted on things that he sees. So his whole goal is to make his best buddy happy. And whatever that means.
He does.
He does.
All right. That was pretty good. It's better than
Why,
I did.
thank you. I tried not to spoil anything. I was trying not to do that.
No, you did a good job.
Okay, thanks.
So you had never seen the original Child's Play, which we did last week for the show.
Which is surprising, But no, we did not.
So
I have not.
you got to see that one week, and then the next week you got to see the remake. And
My life is full now.
you're a giant fan of killer, scary doll movies. So this was a real treat for you.
Oh, I didn't like the Annabelle deal. I don't like Chucky. I just...
Is it that it scares you, or is it just you think they're
No.
stupid?
I just think it's stupid.
So Jack and I both loved watching Child's Play again. I think it's a really solid movie, and I get a kick out of it. You were not impressed.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I was so not into it. And you know why I think it is? And I kind of complained about this to you. It's a doll. I cannot get behind the idea of this doll attacking adults and them not seeing it, not being able to fend for themselves. Like he's, it's 2 feet tall and somehow is just sumo strength and murdering all these people. Like, I just think it's stupid. I can't get behind that. I cannot get behind that.
You were saying that, I think during the first one, you were like, just kick it. What do you do?
Just kick it. Yeah, it's a 2 foot tall doll. Kick it.
So you didn't like the first one. What did you think of this one?
Okay, the second one was better.
Okay, you did enjoy this more? Okay.
It was better. I'll do a critique sandwich here.
Okay, we only talked about it a little bit in the car on the way home because I didn't want to spoil our conversation.
I will say the humor in this was really, really good. It was funny. It was a really funny movie.
Shockingly funny, particularly for the first half or so. It's a comedy. Yeah. It's not really a horror movie at all.
It's very funny. I thought, what's her name? I keep wanting to say it's Alyssa Milano, but what's her name? The actress.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. She did a great job. The kid, whoever played her son, the kid actor, he was great. He was a good actor.
He was
a good actor.
Shocking.
I was really impressed by him. And, his friends were funny. I thought everything was good. The neighbor, the detective neighbor, I liked him. He was funny.
Great comedic character.
It was good. If it weren't for my I hate dolls that are possessed, like that whole thing, I think I would have really liked it. That was my only thing. I just didn't like the story, but it was really funny. It was well done. I liked that they did the AI instead of the voodoo, because we were kind of wondering how they were going to do that. Yeah. So I thought it worked. I thought it made sense. I thought it was very modernized and pretty seamless in that way. I just think the doll's dumb. I just can't.
So, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with on everything positive you said. I was curious to see what they did with the voodoo stuff, because in rewatching it in 2019, it really sticks out as being goofy as hell. Yeah. I can understand in the 80s when people thought, devil worshipping cults were murdering children on every street corner.
Right.
And voodoo dolls worked and were real and stuff like that. In me watching Unsolved Mysteries, the amount of cases that have to do with that kind of stupid shit is crazy. I mean, people just believed this stuff. So it made sense then. It doesn't really apply so much now. Yeah. So I thought updating it helped with the realism factor a lot. Just having it be it's a kind of AI, but it's not fully sentient. It kind of learns from its surroundings. It learns from all the input you put into it. So with all the safeguards turned off, it sees some kids at one point watching a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I think it was Texas 2, which is just a goofball movie.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, we haven't watched that one. No. I saw it in high school, but that was it. It's weird. So he sees these kids laughing at it and kind of starts programming himself that that's what humans find hilarious. So he tries to stab one of them because he thinks, oh, this is all fun and games. So in that regard, seeing the progression of Chucky, I thought worked really well. He didn't start off as just this crazy lunatic like the first movie, who puts himself in a doll and then just sits in packaging apparently for a couple days until he gets to the family's house. So I like that. And it allowed, at the beginning, you actually, again, we didn't talk about this, but did you feel a little sympathy for the doll at the beginning?
I mean, yeah. And for what you said, he starts off, he's not influenced or imprinted yet. So he just wants his best buddy to play with him and have fun. And so he expresses this sadness, I guess. He responds to being alone or neglected or whatever. And you feel kind of bad for him.
Yeah, I thought so.
But I was really impressed with everything that Chucky sees comes around again. So I felt like there were no loose ends. Everything had a purpose somewhere in the story.
All his interactions.
Yeah, I thought that was done really, really well.
Yeah, you're right. All the stuff that he sees, he either says later or does later or perverts later in what he does.
Yep. Yeah, it all comes back.
So, I'm with you. This was way better than I expected. We were at a picnic and we had to go see this movie because it was playing at a weird time. So we had to leave and we were like, sorry, we have to go see a movie. And everyone asked, we're going to see Child's Play. Can't wait. And there were 4 other people in the theater. And I was very shocked at the quality.
Yeah.
Now, there were little issues with it. So his AI thing, he's created by this company. And the name of it is escaping me.
Caslin.
Okay. So it's kind of I think it's called a Wyland Corp from Alien, the Alien series. I think that's what it's called. My brain's not working tonight. I need more alcohol. So they create this corporation like that clearly is not on the up and up. And they create him, and they also create tons of other smart home products and self-driving cars and all these things. And this doll is designed to work as not only your friend forever if you're a kid, but also as kind of a smart home hub. So if you tell Chucky to turn your air conditioner on, he can do it. You tell him you want to watch a movie, he automatically turns the TV on and finds it and whatever else you want. He's your alarm clock. So he's able to control all this stuff. So as his safeguards come off, he's able to do things that Chucky couldn't do in the first movie. So he can lock your door. He can play sounds. He seemingly records everything he interacts with. So everything you say to him, he'll play back. If he hears a cat making horrible sounds, he can play it back to you at night and scare you. So I thought that was also a kind of interesting dimension that they added.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that worked for me for the most part. Until it didn't, which we'll get into in spoilers. There was some stuff with that where it went a little too far for me. But, all in all, it wasn't bad.
It was not bad.
You just can't get past the killer.
I just hate that the doll is possessed. Well, I guess it wasn't possessed in this. The doll is murdering people and evil. And
So speaking of murdering, the death count is much higher in this movie.
It's really high.
It's maybe 4 people in the first one and the original. This one, it's a lot more.
And not just a death count. Like, it's creative.
There are some gruesome deaths.
Yeah.
The first one, only the voodoo priest guy that he goes and kills, he breaks his leg. That's about as gory as that movie gets. It's really not, over the... No, you see people get slashed a little bit. This one, there is some freaking gore.
Ooh-wee.
Faces removed. There's a
There was
rototiller.
a table saw in one.
Yeah. There's a rototiller kill.
That's right.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on in this one. So I don't know that I like that more because I kind of liked that the first Child's Play wasn't just a serial killer. I mean, the guy was a serial killer, but he wasn't just killing willy-nilly. He had a mission to accomplish, so he wasn't trying to bring attention to himself if he didn't have to. This one is just, it gets pretty crazy.
It does.
It gets pretty crazy, and some people who should be noticing some things aren't. So, that was maybe a little bit of a problem there, but...
Well, you know what? And you made a point that I didn't really think about. In the first one, the Chucky had motive. Like, he had a list of people he was going after for the most part. This one did not. It was just kind of a free-for-all. It was just
malfunctioning robot.
Anybody and everybody, and it didn't matter. So it added a little bit, maybe more of a more threatening, scary element to it, because if you're in his path, sorry, you're probably dead.
No, that's true, because in the original, if you were the neighbor, he didn't want you to know he was alive, so he would just pretend he was a doll and just wouldn't move.
Right.
It wasn't until he had to kill you for whatever reason that he would do it. In this, if he doesn't like the way you're treating the boy, or if he thinks the boy is becoming best friends with you, deuces.
So sorry, but yeah, you're probably dead.
Yeah. I wanted to also talk a little bit more about the tonal shift from the original. So this is a remake where they didn't just change the voodoo, they didn't just change the motive. Tonally, it's completely different. The original did not have much humor. This one is 50+% comedy.
Yeah,
which
funny.
Which was very surprising. I thought the comedy was actually extremely effective.
It was really good.
So that made it so different that this is child's play, but it felt like a completely different kind of film.
Mm-hmm. I as far as a remake goes, I think they did the best possible thing they could have.
Just making a ton of changes.
They made a ton of changes. I mean, the spirit is there. That is, but I would even say a little bit off that path. But look, the spirit of it is there. We'll leave it at that. Keep it simple. But it's really modernized and in a way that was really well done. So if you have seen the first one, like I'd seen the first one a week ago, and this was still it was entertaining. I didn't feel like I was seeing the same movie.
Yeah.
It was a completely different experience.
No, that's true. I think that was part of why I wasn't looking forward to seeing it, because I just watched the original. I don't need to see that story again. So the fact that it was completely different made me pretty happy. Yeah,
it's very different. I like it more than the original.
So we saw some interviews with Aubrey Plaza. We haven't seen her in much. And you were just like, what is with this sarcastic? Is she being for real?
Oh God.
What is the deal with her? And it turned out you thought she was pretty good in this, right? I thought she did. She was funny and did the character really well, and very toned down compared to what we've seen of her in real life.
Toned down, maybe toned up.
A little more energy. Okay.
Yeah, normally she was so flat.
Good dog.
I'm going to get treats. Hold on.
Okay. So I thought Aubrey Plaza was great in this. I thought Mark Hamill, I should probably wait till she comes back to talk about that, but Mark Hamill was great. He was, just like everything else, he was very different and didn't maybe go as crazy over the top with it as Brad Dourif would go. I'm talking about the Mark Hamill as Chucky. And he definitely wasn't he wasn't screaming and yelling profanities at women like he did like Brad Dourif did in the original.
No.
So it was another one of those things that they changed so much that I thought it worked. And Mark Hamill's great. I mean, anybody who's ever heard him as the Joker knows how awesome he is. So
it was really weird this brings up one of probably my favorite moment in the movie. It's hilarious to think that Mark Hamill is the voice of this psycho AI gone wrong doll. In this kind of sweet voice. And then when he sings the song, which stay to the end, if you haven't seen it yet, stay to the end and listen to him sing the song. It's worth your time.
Over the end credits, he sings this song for his doll.
It's worth staying for.
Yeah.
But when the boy, I forget his name, Andy, I think, opens the doll for his birthday and he gets to name him. He says, what should I be called, or what's my name, or whatever. And he says, the boy says, Han Solo. And the doll, or Chucky, was just, no, how about Chucky? It was just a funny little ha-ha in there. That
solid wink.
Yeah, it was great.
Solid
that
wink
part.
to the audience. Yeah, I agree. And I hear the first rolls of thunder.
They've been coming in. So far, so good.
This is a good time to hit this fucking dog, man. This is a good time to hit spoilers, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Before we do, next week we are doing Spider-Man Far From Home. The week after that, we're going to do Midsummer. So for the first time ever, we actually have 2 weeks planned back to back. And I'm super pumped to see both those movies. All right. So spoilers, if you haven't seen this, get the hell out of here. See you next week.
Yeah.
One of my issues with the movie was the end went really over the top, which wasn't too much of a problem, except there was a couple little weird things in there. So Aubrey Plaza's tied up beside a forklift, and a rope is tied from her neck to one of the forks, and it's raising up and it's going to hang her. But it's literally right beside her, so she could just sit on the fork and be completely fine.
Yeah, that's it.
She later is cut down, and then her hands and feet are somehow miraculously untied 5 seconds later. So it's like little things like that. I'm like, oh man, you maybe could have set this scene up a little better.
The forklift was a big one. That was a bit.
That wasn't so great.
Like, you could just sit down.
Yeah, and if she was somehow tied up in a way that she couldn't get to it, that was not readily visible to me.
It didn't seem like it.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so it should have been done in a different way.
Yeah.
But, so there were little things like that bothered me. A couple logic errors that weren't great, but usually it was from the kid's perspective, so it didn't bother me too much. Like they find a dead body, or they find a face, actually.
Yeah, face.
And they start freaking out, and instead of just saying what happened, they cover it up, which is stupid. But they're kids.
Yeah, it's a horror movie and they're kids.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's fine.
It's a killing doll. I mean, I don't know why your standards are so high.
It's what we do here. And I did like that they also explained why the doll is strong in this. It's because it's a robot. In the first one, it's just a doll that's possessed by a voodoo serial killer. Mm-hmm. In this one, it's mechanical. It's hydraulic. It's cabling and wires and metal. So it's not overpowering adults, but when the kids tackle it and are trying to take his battery or his power source out, they really struggle with it. And they're like, why the hell is he so strong? And when you see the inner workings of him, it makes sense.
Yeah. They did a nice job of that, because that was my big issue with the first one. Yeah, he's just a toy.
Yeah, when he would jump on people and they'd fumble around for a little bit before they threw him away. Right.
So stupid.
So when are we watching the rest of the Child's Play series now?
No, I can't. I mean, like tonight.
Quality is a little all over the place with those. So, is there anything else in spoilers here you wanted to mention?
Oh gosh, I should have been more prepared. Not that I can think of. Spoilers.
Bothered you?
Bothered me. No, but I will say the one of the scene in the toy store with the drones that had the razor blades attached to
the propellers.
Oh my! I saw that. That just made that one made my stomach turn a little bit, because that was just.
I thought that was pretty clever.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It would have to really hit you in the throat to kill you, but that would mess you up.
It can mess you up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was the one that made my stomach turn a little bit. I mean, the table saw was kind of disgusting. Oh, that was the thing that we both didn't really like. The guy, like the maintenance guy in the apartment building, apparently was some sleazeball that had like cameras in all the women's apartments, and somehow by weird kind of messed up Robin Hood luck, he gets Chucky in his lair in the basement of this apartment building, and Chucky like makes it right. Like, he has like this stroke of consciousness that's like morality, and he sees that he's watching Andy's mom.
Was that what it was? I thought he was just killing him because he tore him apart.
No, that's what sets him off. He saw him because he shut down the circuits when he was looking at Andy's mom in the bathroom.
I just thought that was part of his escape, but you might be right.
Maybe not. But to me, it was like, oh, he has a stroke of goodness. Like it was bizarre. And what are the odds?
Yeah,
that this super creepo.
I'm with you.
Found
that's too much.
The super psycho doll. Like that was maybe a bit
yeah. This guy's a super creepy spying. Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
He was greasy and kind of dirty.
Just happens to be in this. I understand that these movies really portray Chicago as a shithole, but
they do.
Good Lord, it might be
Chicago and its people. Apparently, it was a bit much.
Yeah. So that was a little much. And shit, I just remembered the other thing that I thought was a little. Oh, they take the AI smart home hub thing too far in one scene in particular. I understand he can control TVs, he can control your thermostat, he can put shit in your planner and your calendar. He at one point is controlling a self-driving car out in the street.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I understand this company is evil, but are they this incompetent that they would allow a doll to control
A
the
child's doll
Yeah.
to connect to the self-driving car.
That was maybe a little much for me. But, it wasn't the worst, but it was just like, And then,
It's a
the
little
car clearly malfunctions and people see it. And then when they
Yeah.
find the woman who was killed in it, she's stabbed. And they aren't, nobody's saying, hey, you should check out what was going on with that car. I don't know how she got stabbed, but the car was freaking out.
Because she waved to her friends. So it's obvious that people saw her because she waved to them. So there were people that witnessed the whole thing. It just took place in a parking lot.
Yeah.
So they made that known. People saw it. It just, yeah,
Yeah, it was a little much.
a little much.
But what are you going to do? All right.
It's a killing doll. It's what can you say?
All right. So for a killer doll movie, well, let's just put it this way. First, would you recommend it to someone? Would you recommend it to our audience, horror lovers?
Of course I would. I realize that not liking Chucky might get my horror card revoked, but I would recommend it, yes.
Would you recommend it to a normie?
I don't know what the standards are for this. You know what? I would. I feel like it's pretty mainstream.
Okay. That surprises me.
Oh, really?
And for people who hate dolls, this is an absolute no.
This is not for you. I think I would. I mean, like I said, I think the humor's there. It's well done. There's some gore in it, but yeah, it feels like a mainstream kind of.
You think the comedy
movie.
helps?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the first half of this is 100% mainstream. Just solid comedy, a couple creepy moments, but for the most part, it's not even a horror movie. And then, it takes a hard left turn around the middle.
Well,
yeah. So I really like this. It wouldn't have made my top 10 list last year, but that's not saying it's bad or anything. This year, so far, it's definitely on my top 10 list. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, a couple things that just was a little much, but
agreed.
Overall, I thought it was a fun movie. I mean, good humor, pretty good effects for the most part. Good acting. Somebody's face gets cut off. I mean, solid.
What's not to love?
Solid movie. All right, we're gonna get out of here before this storm kicks up.
It's coming.
I've already got a ton of editing to do to try to remove the dog as best I can. So, YouTube audience, I apologize for the dogs. Audio audience, hopefully it's not too bad for you.
And I apologize for the 18 million yes or whatever I'm sure I repeated this whole time.
Actually, you did way better than I usually do, and I'm over 100 episodes deep. So
I felt like I was repeating the same words over and over again.
So I'm sure the guys are going to thank you for jumping in. I'm sure they won't for jumping in and taking their place.
They will never miss again.
They're going to be listening to the dogs like, Jesus Christ, we can't have this
That's right.
again.
That's right.
So thanks for hopping in. We appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll have you on again.
Thanks for
soon
tolerating me.
when these guys don't show up. So next week is Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yep.
Next week is Spider-Man Far From Home. And we'll see you then.
Bye.